to my studio again. We are going to be doing some comic book character inking today. An interesting story. My laptop is in the shop. It broke. The battery, I don't know, something went wrong. Anyway, so we're just hanging my phone on a contraption that I created here and just going to go for it. So the trick with this is that I can't that I'm limited in terms of things I can do. I'm gonna try to put some music on in the background, and then we're gonna chill and relax, do some artwork. I'll come in and check the what do you call the comments, and once if we get a crowd here, then we'll talk a bit more as well. But I'm gonna grab some music in just a second. So whoever has joined us, say hello if you would. It would be nice to see. Let me open up the chats here. Top chat, live chat, all messages. Welcome to live chat. All I want to know is if the music is too loud or not loud enough. I guess the dynamics are gonna come and go. Maybe I'll turn it down a touch. That was dramatic. Hello to Nullis, my brother. Fantastic show last night, my man. Incredible. T.S. Eliot. Wow. So anyway, I've got a couple. Tell you what, why don't we do a little review of the recent characters that I've done. This is God Emperor. I'm working for a new comic book company, and they're taking memes like the God Emperor, and turning them into characters. So I designed This, I guess it's one of those things where you don't want to give away too much, but this character is called Miley Psyop. You know, Miley Cyrus, Miley Psyop. These are the Wojak, the Wojaks that are made into this sort of badass, assassin team of some kind. You've always seen the meme of the guy with the huge brain. So we've created a kind of a character out of him, Galaxy Brain. Black Block, the Fed, Capitalist Pig. These are just some neat characters in this new comic book, Transhuman. Anyway, it's a new comic book company I'm working for. I'm designing all the characters in their universe, which is crazy. This one is the Eternal Angel. We have another one called Deus Vault. This one here is Karen, like the slur Karen, I guess. Yeah, so she's a sort of a cyborg type character. There's just so many cool and interesting characters in this world. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work, and then since I have to use my phone today, I'll only be able to check the chat periodically. Right now, I'm looking in the chat. Hello to Nullis, and feel free to chat with me, talk with me, ask questions if there's anything I can talk about with you. I like to kind of tell stories and things as I work sometimes, but other times I have to sort of concentrate, you know. so, so anyway, here I go. Welcome to my studio, Monday live stream. I'm going to be doing this every Monday. Sometimes I talk a little bit about like the tools of the artist and the different types of materials and things that we use. It's kind of technical stuff, I guess. I don't know how interesting that is, but in a drawing, it's the same thing with, I don't know, say fixing a car or something. That you need the right tool for the right job. So if I'm drawing his eyes, I need a really really thin marker that I can kind of get in there and get the minute details. With comics, you're always trying to give personality to each character, and sometimes it's dramatic, and other times it's comical. Um, I often think of these characters as actors in film. I would, think of certain actors that I like, like Michael Fassbender or um, Keanu Reeves or Crispin Glover or some, depending on what the role is that they're playing, you're sort of casting them. So it's kind of a neat experience to be able to do that, um, but with your pencil and pen, you know. Um, okay. So the way it generally works is you normally lay out the whole character and then you'll go in and add the shadows and whatnot. But this guy, I'm kind of goofing around with him, going here and there. Um, Whenever you're doing something like this crazy, ridiculous sword that he's got, you always use a straight edge with something like that. Let's see how many people are with me now. We've got 2 people. Lovely. All right, I'll put some, get the, crack a bottle of wine, and we'll, that'd be fun. Anyway. Let's work on the sword. So the trick with these streams is that I will be taking commissions and drawing or painting the commissions that I get. So I've already gotten 2 new commissions, but working through the details with the clients. And then once a down payment is delivered on that, then I'll start, and make sure that they can know what stream I'm doing it on and make sure that they can come and see it. So it's pretty cool to be able to see an artwork that you commissioned, being made before your eyes. So that's one of the cool things about this stream. And I don't give out details about my clients just to keep their privacy, but as far as basic things like simple things that can be said, I'll give you an example. One of my new clients had me listen to a podcast about a historic event, and that event relates to the commission. So, for example, many of you saw in my other streams, I'm doing an enormous painting that is of the Romans sacking the temple at Jerusalem. So that's a historic painting, right? And then it's really cool to be able to listen to podcasts or YouTube shows or what have you that teach about those historic events. And then honestly, for me, it's awesome because I get a kind of a cultural enrichment or historic enrichment, learning about the things that I'm painting. That's quite wonderful, and that's pretty much, what I'm all about with my shows and stuff is cultural enrichment for our people. It's a really critical thing. There's so many people producing news shows, commentary shows. I don't feel like I need to add more to that out there. There's enough content out there. Um, I strongly urge everybody to go to all of the White Art Collective shows. There's really, really great content. Last night, Nullis did his poetry cast, and it was extraordinary. And a really, really smart guest on, Spencer J. Quinn, who is published with Countercurrents, discussed his novel. Um, and his novel is kind of science fiction, dystopian future, um, science fiction, dystopian future. So, we discussed, topics related to that, and it was a really, really rich conversation. Very cool. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of adding these little streaks. Whenever you're drawing metal, it's a kind of I don't know, it's just something that you see a lot in comics and even probably cartoons. I would say that there's just these little light streaks that they give the impression of steel. If when the colorist gets this, he'll understand the kind of little cues that I'm leaving on here to give it a sense of it being steel. And now we have 7 people. So let's say hello. Who do we got here? I'm checking the chat. I have to stand up and look into the chat to see who's here. What do we got? If we do nothing, great to see you, Bruce Bogtrotter. Look at the size of those hands. I know I've got Popeye arms. Check them out, man. Uh, no, it's just an illusion. Who else is here? We got Nullis. Okay. Well, it's good to see everybody. Thank you for joining. Is the music too loud or not loud enough? And you can tell me when you want to tell me. So I'm going to just adjust this a touch. And away we go. Maybe move it back. My setup is not my laptop this time, so it's a little funky today. Anyway, here we go. So, I'm tasked with this character. He's sort of like, something like the Archangel, or like the Michael, or something of this nature, and it has obviously a what would you say, like a Crusader theme to it. So you look at a lot of different designs online and you try to capture certain images that look cool, like, I don't know, the kind of boots they wear, or the tunic or the belt, and then kind of mix and match to create something unique. And this guy's a very cool guy. He's kind of very noble looking character. Um, he's got this undergarment on that's I don't know what it's called, but it's sort of a heavy wool undergarment that they use when they're doing well, people who do sort of like reenactments, they do sword fighting and this whatnot, and so they have this really neat kind of heavy wool undergarment that I saw online, and I thought, yeah, that's gonna look good. I'll use that. And once the color is on it and the texture's on it, it looks better. You'll see it when it's done. That's the thing. That's another thing is, as an artist, I know what it is that I'm doing and what it'll look like in the end. I guess it'd be like watching a chef in the kitchen and just going, well, what are you doing? Where's this going? What's it going to be like in the end? So the new comic book company that I'm working for, it's called New Delphi Media. And I have been tasked with designing all of the characters in their new comic book universe. So that's quite a task. It's quite awesome, to be honest with you. I'm really, really pleased with that. But it's also very challenging in its own way. It's sort of daunting in its own way. I'm not complaining. I love it. This is, dream job, obviously. But you do look at things like this and say, wow, okay, this is a very major moment in my art career that, I want to take advantage of this and shine. I want to be able to produce some work that people will remember, and hopefully we'll be hiring other artists and growing as a company. So naturally I want to create characters that are gonna look cool, whoever draws them, whatever kind of style that they have. So this here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's got kind of a brush tip. It's very, very thin brush tip. These are really, really handy. I prefer to use real brushes, but it's super time consuming, and the time's money. So there you go. By the way, if you have not seen White Art Collective's poetry cast last night, you can go to the replays on White Art Collective DLive. It's sort of right under the main screen there. So DLive/White Art Collective. And there's, of course, lots of great shows. They do music on Mondays and Wednesdays. Nullis just did his poetry cast, which was fabulous. I always feel like that show is it's a community affair in a way. We're meeting up with our friends and tuning in onto some great production work, cool guests. It's always a thrill. Of course, not everybody can tune in, or maybe they couldn't stay for the whole show, but that's the beauty of the replays. So make sure you set aside some time for that. You can, save a link to your desktop or something and then enjoy it. So we need more, white positive cultural enrichment. And that's why I urge people to get involved in the white art community events that they have online. For starters, it's just a really fun, chill community. There's no arguments and backstabbing and posturing or this or that or the other. The internet is a pretty toxic place. Social media can be a really, really toxic place, and it's just great to be around cool people, and people that are excited about doing productive things and having a positive impact. So, what are you waiting for? The door is open. Come on in. So, sometimes when I have to just fill in something that's just black, I don't want to waste the ink on my good brushes, so I'll grab one of these guys, these clunkers here. Now, this type of a marker, I used to be a professional caricature artist for about 5, 6 years. And I will still do caricature portraits for you if you want to commission them. I have had a long term relationship with a company that is a gym, and then whenever somebody at the gym reaches a goal or has a birthday or a wedding or there's some event that the gym wants to help them celebrate, they commission me to do a caricature of that client, and then they surprise them with a really funny caricature of them doing whatever it is that they're known for. If it's cycling or if they're a sports fan or whatever the thing is that they like. And this kind of markers for that type of illustration. I don't see that I have any caricatures handy. I'm going to try to continue focusing on this, but I'll check the chat real fast. Any questions about the caricatures? Looking at the chat, what do we got? We got Alfred, the great cat. Stick around, but I'll watch later. Always a pleasure to see you, your artwork. And a pleasure to have you here, sir. Thank you so much. Very abnormal democracy. The pen moves like butter. Thank you. That's the kung fu of inking right there. Can cut through the literally just about. Can cut through, yeah. The sword of Michael. Very good, very good. Hey, who is this? Hitshaw. Nice to meet you, Hitshaw. Welcome. Len Graham, what's the theme for this piece? This is a kind of a sort of a crusader superhero, and it's part of a whole